You ready, Ella? Welcome to the Menopause Unfiltered podcast, where we talk about the down and dirty of menopause and anything goes. We're your hosts. I'm Michelle.
Ella. And we're excited to have our guest here, Suzie, and she's going to join us and share her menopause journey. Welcome, Suzie, and thank you for joining us today. Do you want to just give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me. First podcast ever.
Okay.
I'm a stay-at-home mom to a almost 17-year-old. I had him at 40. So I'm 57. So I'm on the probably the older end of menopause friends for Michelle and Ella. And I'm postmenopausal. Lucky me. And so maybe we could talk a little bit about post today. I don't know. But happy to be here. Thanks. I think I started peri in my mid 40s. So I had my son Jack at 40. And then in a couple of years, I started to have like really bad symptoms of different stuff, heavy periods, hormonal migraines, that kind of thing. And my hormones, my emotions were just like up and down roller coaster. So I went to see a menopause specialist, and she put me on a light pill, so light birth control, and it totally evened everything out. It was great. But so I used that for years and years and years. And then at 55, they told me, you shouldn't be on that anymore. You're not supposed to be on birth control after, I think it's 51, 52, I'm not sure. But
Thanks for telling me 3 years
later. Yeah, so they said I could stay on, but I would have to get my blood pressure done like regularly, which I don't have a problem with blood pressure, but I didn't want to have to go running to the doctors all the time. Yeah. So I decided to get off of it. And lo and behold, as soon as I got off of it, so I had periods like every month that whole time up till 55. As soon as I got off of it, no more periods. So I had sailed through menopause basically while being on birth control. So so thankfully it lightened like a lot of the symptoms that people get. I never got hot flashes or anything like that. But so I got a fit, and they wanted to put me on hormone replacement, and I didn't go on it. I decided that I wanted to see if I could just sit it out on my own, trying to be strong. And it's like, I don't need any drugs. People have been doing this forever. So for a full year, I didn't take anything. And once that 12th month hit of no period and I had my menopause day, by that point, I decided I wanted to try to get on hormone replacement because it was a rocky battle for that year, honestly. So I've been on sorry.
No, I was saying, so what were some of the symptoms? So like you didn't do it for a year. Like what was happening? Like, I need to go on this.
The first one, and it seemed like it was like overnight, but it probably took a few days of being off of anything. But I got super achy. It's like all of my joints, my bones, it felt like I had aged 30 years, like overnight. And honestly, like getting out of bed in the morning, I had to hang onto the wall. It was really bad. And I exercise regularly. I'm trying to keep everything moving as I'm getting older and, doing functional exercise and all that. But it was really bad. I was like in pain, like all the time. And my energy levels plummeted. So, I thought it would even out pretty quickly, but it didn't. It started to after maybe like, I'd say 6 months. But by that time, I'd already gone back to the doctor and had them do blood work to see if anything else was like out of whack. Because, other things can contribute to that, like vitamin D levels, iron levels. So, which were both low for me. So that was part of it too.
Okay.
Which I think is pretty normal menopause.
And so did they give you the idea that the really quick onset of those symptoms was a result of coming off the birth control pill?
No, they didn't. It was just my regular doctor, and they actually didn't say much about it. They just did my blood work. She's not a specialist. She's pretty young. She's having babies. She's like her first baby, so she's pretty young. No, they just said, let's try iron, let's try vitamin D, which I did. And like I said, I still didn't go on hormone replacement for a full year. So that was like halfway through. one of the worst ones too was sleeplessness, which I've heard you talk about like on your podcast.
Yeah.
Which was horrible. It's like when you're only getting like 3 or 4 hours of good sleep a night, you wake up and you're just wrecked, and you're wrecked, and you're not happy, and nobody's happy because mom's not happy. Your wife's not happy, friend's not happy, sister, daughter, whatever.
Yeah.
What sort of hormone replacement therapy medication are you on now? Today?
I'm on, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it estradiol and progesterone?
Just today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you are. Okay. I thought you were on synthetic.
No, you know what? I always thought they were synthetic because I see so many people talking about bioidenticals. And honestly, I kind of felt like, wow, I guess I'm not on a good one. But, it's like everything I had read on mine was like, it's great. But I looked it up. It is bioidentical. Is it bio?
Okay, yeah. I think that's what I think about, like Michelle's on that, they gave her that too. And it seems to be like the one that all the doctors, they don't do like the synthetic ones anymore, right? So I don't know, maybe.
I don't know.
Like Premarin, I think in some cases they do. It just depends, I think, if you could take it. Because I think if you don't have a uterus, you don't need, is it progesterone? I know you don't need one of them. Because if you have a uterus, you're supposed to take both of them.
I don't know. Well, I know sometimes with hysterectomy, they'll leave in your ovaries. So I think you're still producing, or is that producing the estrogen? You see, we should know this. We need a doctor.
I don't know. People do your own research, but I think it has to do with your uterus.
So we need to find an expert or somebody that can explain that to us, because I think that's another thing that we kind of like, oh, I think we're on bioidentical, but it's like that gray area.
Well, that was I think like when I went to my doctor, what was it, a little over a week ago now. Yeah, because I've been on the estrogen for exactly a week today. And I was talking to her and I was saying I want the bioidentical, and usually it's the estradiol. And she was saying it's a term that a lot of people apply, but it's not really accurate, because if it's truly bioidentical, then it's our body is making it, where this one is one of the ones that most closely mimics it. So it's what the kind of the term that we all use, but it's, I don't know, she was getting technical and saying it wasn't, but as opposed to like the creams, I think some of the other synthetics is like the creams and some of the other things that for a while it sounded like it was a real struggle to have your doctors prescribe the bioidentical. But now I don't know, because we're all in California and it's more readily available to us, or they've shifted and now they're more open to prescribing it to people. So that's like, I assume, Suzie, that you weren't on that you were on something else, or maybe you thought you were, but
you probably asked me specifically if it was bioidentical, and I think I probably said no, because I didn't know. Honestly, nobody's ever explained it to me. And so until I started looking it up to see the actual prescription and the brand, that's when I found out that it is. It was after it was recently, Michelle. It was after I watched one of your podcasts, honestly.
Oh, there you go. Great.
I just found out.
Morning.
But I think I'm part of lots of over 50 groups, and I think a lot of them, they make it sound like the bioidentical is like natural and clean, so I just was assuming, well, mine are pills. So
I think that's what
it's a drug.
And I think there might be some that are compounded. And again, this shows we'll do our work and we'll get someone who can come on and explain it. And the thing is, I know I've heard experts talk about these things. I know I've read it, but it's so much information and trying to retain all that and keep it straight. But Suzie, I remember when you were, I think it was maybe during that year, at that time when you were off of it, you really talking about how you just really felt like you aged a lot and you weren't feeling yourself. And knowing you, I know you stay very fit, like you're very consistent with your fitness regimen, and you have a great balance. I know you don't overdo it with the crazy strength training, but you do it to a level where you stay healthy and toned and in shape.
I try. The struggle is real.
Yeah.
So So do you feel like most of your symptoms are gone now, or how are you feeling with your stage right now?
Way better. Definitely way better. It took a while. And like I said, I started vitamin D. So I think that had a part, it's partly responsible for like energy levels because I was feeling just like really tired like all the time. Like I needed a nap in the afternoon, which wasn't me.
Yeah.
But now I would say um I've been on it since December or late December, early January. And my energy levels definitely are back. I'm not achy at all. I'm not getting out of bed like I was. I mean, I'm still, 57 years old. So yes, I'm slower than I used to be, but it's way better. Yes, definitely. But I have to say on the sleeping thing, I still do wake up after 4 to 5 hours, like every night, and it takes probably half an hour to an hour to fall asleep. So that part hasn't completely fixed itself. So but that's recent. So I would say for the first 7 months, I was sleeping pretty good.
Yeah.
So I
So
think it's different for everybody. So don't lose hope. I don't want to scare you.
no, yeah. I think because I mean I started taking it a while ago too, and I mean I still have nights where I wake up but I can go back to sleep. So
Yeah, it seems to
it
keep
all
you
changes
drowsy.
it. Yeah. I feel drowsy. I do feel like after I take my progesterone and the magnesium, I feel drowsy and I can go to sleep. So
Yeah.
that's good. But
Yeah, I never really had
yeah,
a problem falling asleep. It was staying asleep. So, I
yeah.
usually am
I hear
tired
that a
before I
lot.
fall.
That's me too, Susie. It's I can fall asleep. I'll probably fall asleep within 5 or 10 minutes, but then I would just wake up and couldn't go to sleep at all. So I'll have to do something like put in some, earbuds and listen to a podcast, or sometimes if it's really bad, I'll come downstairs to the couch and turn on like just some old sitcom TV, just something in the background. And I know those aren't really healthy ways to deal with it, but sometimes you're just so desperate, just laying there in the dark makes it worse.
Yeah.
So like even like a change of scenery, but even just in the last week since starting the progesterone and the estradiol, I do feel like I'm sleeping a bit better. I'm still waking up, but not as frequently, and I'm able to go back to sleep sooner. And you talked about, 4 or 5 hours of waking up. At this point, if I can just get 4 or 5 hours straight, I'm good. And then the extra is bonus. So, but that's good. And I'm curious for both of you, because I asked my gynecologist about this. Did you, either of you, ask her how long you were expected to stay on the estrogen, or if it was or did you even think to ask that?
I didn't ask now.
Well, I talked to, like our coach guy and I said, "Do I have to take this forever?" And he said, "Well, if you want to feel good." But I don't know. I mean, like you've talked to somebody, Michelle. I think they said, I
Well,
mean, your
yeah,
gynecologist, didn't she say like
yeah,
if
she said, often it's like up through the 60s, but like later 60s, maybe the 70. She finds like a lot of women don't really need it as that much that point. She recommends that they maybe start coming off of it. So don't just go cold turkey, but you can step down your dose, the prescription, and see how you feel. And then if you feel fine as you keep stepping it down, you can try coming off of it altogether. And so many women are at that point, that stage, are fine. And plus, I guess like the health risks are a lot less. So, and then if they don't feel good, they can always go back on or step it back up. So it's not necessarily you take it now until you die.
but
um,
maybe I mean well 20 years, so that's it is a long time. So
yeah. Well, I hope I don't die in 20 years. I hope I live longer than that.
From what I've seen, like online and heard, I think it's through your 60s, basically.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I have to talk to my doctor like yearly about it before I'll get my prescription. So I'm sure she'll check in with me and decide at that point, should we go forward. But I hope to stay on it, for as long as I need to. Because like I said, when I was on the light birth control, it made a huge difference. It's like for my body, I needed that extra hormone.
Right.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because I remember being younger and hearing about HRT. And then at some point it was sort of vilified, like, oh no, no one should take HRT. So I remember sort of getting closer to this age and stage, sort of being concerned about, oh no, I hope I never have to go on it because I heard so many bad things. And I did talk to my doctor a little bit about that, and she talked about a couple of the studies that a lot of that was based on, and how they weren't really good sample sizes, and there were a lot of other things that went into and kind of skewed the results, so it got that term. But it's like everything else, right? Like for a while you could eat eggs, and I remember like a decade or so eggs were bad, remember, cholesterol, and now we can eat eggs again. But also I guess everyone's different, right? Your symptoms, your the risks that come with taking HRT. But I really liked my gynecologist when I talked to her like a year ago or maybe less, when I was first starting to have some symptoms but not ready to really take anything yet. I did go in and just kind of touch base with her, and she said, look, you'll get to a certain point where you need your quality of life, you need to put your quality of life up against the risks and weigh that. So if you're not sleeping, you have the hot flashes, not sleeping, you have anxiety, all the different things, when they interfere with your quality of life, you have to, that's just as important as considering the health risks. And I thought that was a really good way. So then I went back in like, yeah, remember the conversation? It's impacting my
It's happened.
We're there.
Yeah,
And
achy. And talking to Suzie and, we're comparing like achy, and you feel like, just like when you wake up, you don't feel refreshed. You just feel like a sloth. You're just moving like heavy, and you don't feel like doing anything, and you're tired all the time.
And that's why people probably gain weight. They always,
Right, because
it's
they have
always
no
totally
energy.
blamed on hormones. But, and
Right.
it
They have no
is hormones,
energy.
but you have no energy. That's right. So you're not moving as much.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting
I mean,
because so the person who prescribed the hormones to Ella starts out at the lowest dose and then moves up if necessary, where my gynecologist said, let's start on the next level up, because she didn't feel that the lower ones make the difference. So because we work with the same hormone specialist, he's kind of concerned that I might gain weight initially back with water retention, but we'll see. So I don't know. I only get
That's
about once a
interesting.
month now. So we'll see.
That's interesting because a lot of the over 50s fitness forums that I'm part of, people use HRT kind of as a weapon in there. Like if somebody's in shape, they'll ask them, well, are you on HRT? And people that can't take it are like, well, I can't take it, and it's funny, because what I see is people think that it will help you. For me personally, I don't think it's helped me. It didn't hurt me, but it didn't help. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was more the dosage of it. He said that, that a lot of times starting on it can definitely help. But it's like concerned that it was too much too soon instead of easing up.
Okay, like because I'm on the lowest side. So, and I do notice a difference. Like my insomnia, anxiety, like the bloating went away, all that stuff. I don't have that anymore. So
that's good.
All good.
Yeah, what Michelle was hitting on, which I think spot on, it's like with anything, it's all about, like the risk versus benefit. So you have to, like she said, you get to a point where your quality of life, it's like, do I want to take this or don't I want to take it? And it's everything, but some of the other things that I wanted to just mention, like the fun things with like menopause and postmenopause. And I don't know if anybody's talked about it. I didn't see it in any of your podcasts, but and I know I've talked about it with you guys, is like hair loss and that kind of stuff, your skin elasticity and all that. You get crepey. It's like all that fun stuff happens too. So,
Right. Have you guys
and the
noticed
hormones
like
definitely help.
yeah, I noticed like my eyes now are getting like dry. Like I noticed like my eyes like the dryness, and I wake sometimes I waking up and like my eye is just like so dry. So I don't know. I was gonna ask like, is there something that you can take other than like I don't think Visine and all that stuff is actually good to for your dry eyes now
Well,
because
see,
I've started to notice like
I think just regular saline should be okay. I mean, 'cause it doesn't have medication in it where some of the others do. If it's just plain saline drops, I think that would be okay. And Susie, did you know once you went on to the HRT, did you notice some of those things getting better or at least slowing down, like you're saying, like the crepiness and some of those other skin and hair? Because I know your hair is coming back and it's doing great.
Yeah, but that's thanks to lovely minoxidil. But yeah, but so I don't think that the HRT was enough to have to do anything there. But the crepiness for sure. So that it was a benefit. I noticed probably after 4 months that my like on my arms and legs that my skin was looking crepey, and I had never had that before, and it freaked me out.
Really?
But no, it's definitely the elasticity is coming back, so that's good.
Oh, that's good.
And Trish, who was on to talk about hair, talked a little bit about the effects of menopause and the positive benefits of HRT, taking estrogen specifically on your hair. But she said it can take like 8 months for it to really start making an impact. And I'm really hoping to have either a dermatologist or at least an esthetician come on and talk about skin and the changes that we go through during this stage of life and things that we can take maybe, but supplements, hormones, and topical inside and out. Right.
Yeah, and I mean, hormones, they affect everything. And with your hair, I was reading up on it. It's a huge percentage of women by the age of 50. I think it's 40 to 50% get female pattern baldness, where your hair starts thinning, and it's usually like on your part line. So it's super common. And yes, there's topicals that you can take, and I'm sure HRT probably does help with it, and different stuff like collagen and all of that. I know Trish talked about biotin, and there's vitamins, and some of them do stuff, some
Castor
of them
oil.
don't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Even though, and I'm saying I think she mentioned castor oil or something like that
Oh
too.
yeah, and rosemary oil is supposed to be,
and
yeah. There's lots of stuff.
All the things we have to
all the things.
My nighttime and morning routine are just insane now. My medicine cabinet with all the products, the vitamin C, the serums, the retinoids, it's just, like it only takes me like a couple minutes to actually put on the makeup, but it's like everything, all the layers before and then taking it off and then put all the things. Constructing.
It's kind of fun though. I kind of like trying new stuff.
Well, actually, that's a good segue right there, Susie. So I mentioned that Elle and I at the end, we always like to mention a quick product. Do you have anything that
I do.
Oh, fun.
Ooh, let's see.
Show and tell. We have show and
I
tell.
don't know if you've ever seen this before. Sorry. Can you see it?
Oh, what is that?
It's collagen, but it specifically is for skin. So I started using this like 8 years ago. I get it on Costco online. So it's called True Nature Healthy Skin Verisol Collagen, and it's peptides. And it's supposed to help with skin brightening. Because I noticed like in my early 50s that my skin started to look duller. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but if you're like when you're overtired and that kind of thing. But so I started taking it, and I mean it did help with my skin. It did brighten it up a bit. But the big thing was it made my hair and my nails grow like crazy.
Oh,
it's like for like the first year, they grew so quick. Honestly, my hair got very long, like quickly. So it's not going to make your hair thicker, but it will grow what you have.
Oh, yeah.
Susie, can you send me a link to that, and I'll put a link in the
Sure. This is my favorite thing that I've bought probably in the last 10 years.
Add it to our supplements that you take every day.
Elle and I are some supplements. just in case people are listening again and not watching, Suzie, can you tell us one more time what the name of that is? Like I said, I'll still link it, but if you could.
Sure. The brand is True Nature, and it's called Healthy Skin Verisol Collagen.
Okay, it's got a pink label. Costco.
Yes, Costco online specifically.
Okay.
This is capsules, but they also sell a powder.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, Ella, what did you bring for our show and tell today?
I have I found I remember the it's like the lipstick, like the one that's like the Rimmel with the lipstick that's good because it like stays all day and it keeps your lips hydrated, and it's got like the one side is the stain and then the other one is like it kind of locks it in and it lasts all day. And
Okay.
I got different shades, but Michelle is the one. Yeah.
You stole like
I stole your share.
How does it
I
feel
see
on?
Michelle and I share like half a brain because we're always on the same.
We should have like I got together. I was like I had one thing and I was like, oh, let me do this. So Michelle and I are we were on the same wavelength, but sorry.
How's the fill? Because I've noticed as I've gotten older, my lips feel drier. So how's the fill on your lips? Is it super moisturizing?
Yeah,
or...
it's really good.
Yeah. And these are affordable. They're like I think like $8 or something.
$8.
They're
Only
really affordable, and you can give different shades. And I remove it with like soap and water. Like it comes off.
I use
I don't know.
like a cotton ball or cotton pad and a face cleanser. I can't think of it.
Face wash, the face toner,
yeah, and I have all the different colors. So anyway, enough about that. All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much, Suzie. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming on and
thank you
sharing your. Thank you, it was fun.
And Ella, do you want to close us out today?
Sure. I'll make sure to follow us, Menopause Unfiltered, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we're also on Instagram. So check us out, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
And if anyone wants to come on, you can reach us at menopauseunfiltered@gmail.com. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.